language. When 9/11 happened, I thought, that, like all Americans, that this was a major travesty perpetrated by Al Qaeda and the Muslim extremists on America, and I only considered it like everybody else did, or most everybody else, I should say. And
not me.
Okay, well, that's true. And I was part of the naive masses, if you want to call a silent majority. There was a naive majority out there as well I was a member of.
They're still there.
Yeah, well, in any case, they lost one member. At about 6 months after 9/11, I had begun looking at this from a perspective of some mathematical coincidences with what I had observed previously, and some friends had actually encouraged me to look at it further. And what emerged was a definite mathematical pattern was occurring with these attacks and other attacks. Prior to that, there was some indications of a mathematical pattern, starting with the bombing of the Khobar Towers in '96, and then the African embassy bombings in '98, and then the Flight 990 in 1999, and the USS Cole the following year in 2000, and then leading up to 2001. And I thought that this was a pattern that the Arabic Muslim people were using as part of some greater plan. And I investigated it and put together a report that I submitted to the NSA.
National Security Agency.
Yes, I put together an 80-page report that they reviewed and appreciated, and sent me back a letter acknowledging. And
well, that's good. At least they acknowledged they received it.
And then they encouraged me to pass it on to other agencies, which I passed on to the CIA. And one aspect of it pertains to the celestial mechanics and geophysical parameters of the Earth, and its spin and its wobbles, and it is the Naval Observatory that keeps track of such things for keeping things on track for the GPS satellite system.
Did the CIA respond?
CIA did not respond.
Oh, I wonder why.
I think that George Tenet had other things on his plate. In any case, thinking that these factors that involve the Earth's mechanics might be something that they may be helpful with, or they may actually appreciate learning about, I approached the Naval Observatory and had a discussion with people there for a period of time, and then all of a sudden they shut down communication with me altogether.
Did you see them physically, or just by correspondence?
This was correspondence by phone and by email. And then, so I have those emails on disk, so I have a record of that.
What was their reaction? Was it positive, negative, or they just quit communicating with you?
Well, initially it was amazement, and then interest, and then when I started hitting upon things that, corresponded to reality, they pondered it, and they got back to me, and then after about a week, back and forth, then they shut it down.
Never heard from them again.
They would not respond to anything. Okay. Little did I know that that was in Dick Cheney's backyard.
Physically.
Naval Observatory is in Dick Cheney's backyard. So,
Dick Cheney being the Vice President of the United States of America.
And of other organizations.
Yes.
Yes, much more significant organizations. So, like a lemming, like the rest of us, I just was totally in the dark, and it wasn't until about 8 months ago that I happened to be driving along one day and scanned up and down the dial, and found a radio program by I'm trying to think of his name.
Alex Jones.
Alex Jones, thank you. And I listened to it, and my jaw dropped open, and I realized that I had been a fool.
Then it all came together?
After listening to a few of his shows, it started to sink in that this was a reality, and that this was all perpetrated by the very people that I was trying to address and bring attention to. And so it allowed me to understand, too, their behavior and how they interacted with me.
Well, their behavior certainly accelerated your thinking, though, didn't it?
Yes. It also
particularly when you heard Alex Jones.
Yes, and it also shut off
Good for you, Alex. We're proud of you.
Yes, okay. Thank you, Alex. It also shut down my communication with them altogether from my side. I no longer had any interest in speaking with them again.
But then that gave you, what you had to figure, that gave you credibility then.
Well, it gave me the impetus to think that, let's look at this and see what actually is further in the rabbit hole and how deep it went. And I went deeper and deeper, and I think with the presentation you'll find just how deep the rabbit hole goes.
Okay, you want to start?
Sure.
Let's